Nation, let's get it. Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building. I appreciate you guys so much. Welcome to the latest installment of Coffee and Convo. I am your host, Graphk Raiders. Salute to the greatest chat in YouTube history. As always, make sure you guys wipe them feet around these parts. That means get those likes up and also hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed yet. A lot to talk about today. Today we missed out on a linebacker. We're going to talk about that. Why can't we have good things in Raider Nation, you guys? It seems as though Graphk and company still have they have something against Tom Brady at this point in time, but it is what it is. We'll talk about that here shortly. We're also going to talk about the wide receiver position and if we are going to address that spot in free agency. We're also going to go over some players in the draft that can potentially fit this hole in terms of the linebacker position. Also, we're going to talk about maybe even a trade with Christian Ellis. You guys, this just because New England matched does not mean that we cannot somehow, some way work out a trade with them and bring him into the mix. I mean, I think it's highly unlikely, but it can happen. But salute to the chat, man. Salute to Green Dot Gang, Delano, all my people in the building. If you guys want to become Green Dot, hit the link. It's pinned up top. It definitely helps us keep the lights on over here at OLV Raiders Network. Carlos, I will definitely go check out his mock, man. Definitely love him. My brother Sanjit does over there. I definitely will. Let's get to it, you guys. Tom Pelissero first on the case in terms of Christian Ellis. This morning, he put out a tweet. The Patriots have officially matched the Raiders' offer sheet to linebacker Christian Ellis. Per source, he is staying in New England. This is kind of a shocker here. They just went out and signed two linebackers. Vrabel loves his defense, right? So, it makes sense in a sense. But, Christian Ellis is still fairly young, you guys. Had a good season last season. Finally really started to gain some traction at the NFL level. Undrafted guy. Didn't really get a ton of work in Philadelphia. Finally got an opportunity to really get his feet wet at the NFL level last season and showed out. And we thought that maybe just potentially this could be the guy to come in and be our cover linebacker opposite of a Landon, who you already know is a punisher in the run game at the linebacker position. So we missed out here. But once again, we can make a move here if the Patriots are looking for some potential draft capital. We have some 6th-round picks. Maybe they'll take one of those. If the Raiders are high on him, the way that most people assume we are, we can part ways with the draft pick and potentially bring him in still if New England wants to work out a trade. New England has a ton of money. Honestly, I thought the Raiders would have offered a little bit of more bread. You know what I mean? And we did not. And New England matched. Once again, you guys, they have a shit ton of salary cap space. They were number one in the NFL going into the free agency period. So it's not a shocker here, honestly, that they paid the kid, especially at the price tag. It's very affordable. The kid showed some real signs of, potential last season. Makes sense. But once again, we've seen it a few weeks ago, and I love what my brother Scout said. We could potentially make a move for him here, kind of identical to the Jordan Mason situation with the Niners. They ended up sending him to Minnesota in a trade for like a swap of like a late 6th or something like that. I think they give him a 6th-round pick, something to that extent. He also put out a tweet that says, think the Raiders will explore a trade for Christian Ellis. Similar situation to Ryan Bates with the Bears/Bills years back. Bears signed Bates as a restricted free agent. Bills matched and Bears traded a 5th rounder to Buffalo. So, all hope is not lost at this point for those who wanted to bring in Christian Ellis. I thought that he would have been a starter opposite of a Landon there, at the second level of our defense. Nasty work. The Patriots find a way to kick us in the ass one more time, as if the Tuck rule wasn't enough, as if taking Robert Spillane from us and offering him, the entire farm wasn't enough. Taking Chase on from us and offer him a nice little healthy 1-year deal wasn't enough. New England finds a way to finesse us once again. So once again, you guys, according to Tom Pelissero, the Patriots have officially matched the Raiders offer sheet to linebacker Christian Ellis. Per source, he is staying in New England. So we were kind of waiting for this news to drop today. I thought that all signs were, pointing towards the Raiders being able to sign him and that they weren't going to match. But now we're here. So we got to find a way to find that second linebacker, whether it's through the draft, whether it's through trade. And we're going to talk about another guy out there in Jermaine Pratt with Cincinnati in a scenario that I love. Mo Moulton, salute to our guy, friend of the show, put out an interesting scenario out there that people were tagging me on Twitter a lot about, was Jermaine Pratt, the 28-year-old linebacker, former 3rd-round pick with the Cincinnati Bengals, who is looking for a trade out of Cincinnati right now. He wants to get paid. Cincinnati is allowing him to look for a trade. They just paid Chase. They just paid T. Higgins. They kind of have a hiccup there with Trey Hendrickson. They're not going to be able to pay Jermaine Pratt. And this is a guy that I would definitely take a look at here, who's been very, very productive out there in Cincinnati, and can get it done in coverage as well. Keep an eye on Jermaine Pratt, an interesting scenario that Mo Moulton brought up. Salute once again to our guy. I believe it was on Bleacher Report. People were tagging me on Twitter like crazy about this scenario. So, and I believe he's on the last year of his deal. Let me see. I think he's on the last year of his deal. Let me see. And he won't cost an arm and a leg. Yeah, 2025. This is the last year of his deal right here. So he's looking for an extension. Once again, he's 28 years old right now. He will be 29 when the season starts. I'm not against bringing in a guy like Jermaine Pratt, depending on the price tag in terms of draft capital. So keep an eye on the trade market as well. Salute to John, my guy, gifting 1 OLV Raiders Network membership. My brother, I appreciate you so much. Salute to whoever got that membership there. Welcome to Green Dot Gang. If you missed out, hit the link. It's pinned up top. AC, I agree with you, bro. I'm sick of having to pivot as well. But, every team has to do this in the NFL. It happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, it truly does. Cane Town. I mean, honestly, maybe it's Amari Burney season. Maybe it's, Ferrari Gaynor season. Maybe Tommy Eichenberg gets an opportunity now in year 2 to go out there in training camp and try and make some noise and become that guy. And then if you want to go look through the draft, there's so many options out there. A lot of people are mentioning, Demetrius Knight, South Carolina kid. I know Wasted is very high on him. Jahad Campbell, Alabama, the number 1 linebacker in this class. Would take a look at him. The kid Carson out of UCLA. I would love to take a look at him in that 2nd, 3rd round if we decide to go linebacker early. Chris Paul Jr., we talked about him, right, out of Mississippi, Ole Miss. We talked about a bunch of these guys, the Barrett Carters of the world out of Clemson, the Jeffrey Bassa, Oregon, Jack Kaiser, my guy out of Notre Dame. There's options in this draft. I think this is a sneaky class. The Kobe Kings in Penn State, so on and so forth. Cody Lindenberg, Minnesota. And then once again, another guy that we talked about a lot, Danny Stutzman, Oklahoma, Jay Higgins, Iowa. There's so many options here in the draft. So if they're not high on, one of these guys that are available in free agency, which I don't think they will be outside of, the Christian Ellis like guys that are young, that have a high ceiling and a ton of potential that they haven't lived up to yet. I'm assuming if it's not through the trade market, like Mo brought up with the Jermaine Pratts, I'm assuming we'll go through the draft here. You know what I mean? And yes, young Jalen Walker, I think he's going to be gone early. And I don't know if the Raiders want to go that early to address that position. But that kid is a phenomenal talent out of Georgia. Definitely. But Kane, you may have him in-house already, or you may just go get him to the draft. Or potentially you look through the trade market to see if there's any other linebackers out there that you could potentially pair up with the Landon there at the 2nd level of our defense. Let me see. No, definitely, definitely evil. And once again, they have a defensive minded head coach in Vrabel, right? That probably wants to see what this kid has. I don't think he's going to start for him at all. Evil, like what I mean, they have two guys out there that I think that is already going to be that fit the mold of what Vrabel wants to do out there at the linebacker position. Let me say this: if Ellis, and this is just me kind of spitballing here, speculating here, you guys, if Ellis had his choice, I'm assuming it would have been the Raiders. The no state tax, having an opportunity to start, which I think Ellis would have started for the Raiders over New England. Now, maybe he goes back to the bargaining table and says, hey, can you trade me to Vegas? Do you think they'll trade for him? Because I think he wants to start. He got an opportunity to play last year, and he took advantage of that. I don't think that he's going to get real live bullets this upcoming season. He'll be a rotational piece at best. I don't think he's going to be a starter. So, in my eyes, he probably values being a Raider over a Patriot at this point because, once again, there's a spot there open for him for the taking if he goes out there and performs the way, this defensive staff, Graham and company, believe he can be. Salute to Hug, my dog. Saw the fan bam on Insta. Beautiful family, Graphk. Blessed and highly favored, brother. You are winning at life, my guy. Happy Monday, bro. Salute to you, Hug. Appreciate you, brother. Likewise. Salute to all my family guys out there in the building, man, including my brother Hug D's. Yes, man, had a great day yesterday with the family. Took him out to the water, had some good food, had some good drinks, took the dog out, got the pup out. We had a good time yesterday, Hug. Appreciate you, brother. Love you, brother. Happy Monday, man. Definitely. Let me see. Niles, it's always good to see my sis in the building. Chris says the Pats will sign Pratt next. Wouldn't that be something, right? Marone, that would be something for sure. Definitely. Sean, I'm not really that hype on those guys. I like CJ Mosley, but once again, he'd be a phenomenal get, but he's up there in age as well, right? And he's coming off of some nasty injuries where he's missed a ton of games these past 2 seasons out there with the Jets. He was a captain out there, a locker room leader, but I don't know what he has left in the tank. Now, maybe we do bring him in. Once again, I put it out there, you guys, that the Raiders were interested in Shaq Thompson, Sacramento's own. We're still kind of waiting to see where that is. We're still looking at the linebacker position. So once again, there's some interest in other guys. Right now, once again, I can tell you firsthand that the Raiders have reached out to Shaq Thompson's representation, and maybe that can be something that comes full circle later on. But I'm just not that high on some of those guys, man. I'm really not. Some of those guys you mentioned, Kazir White, EJ Speed would be maybe an option. Eric Hendricks. I'd rather keep it in-house and give Ferrari an opportunity, give Amari Burney a shot, Tommy Eichenberg, one of those young guys that's already on this roster, then go out there and bring in the guy that is pretty much, bounced around the league a little bit at this point in their career. So, Mondo, man, I'm over it, bro. I don't even want to talk about the Kings, man. We're back at 500. We got a bunch of injuries, man. I'm basketball. I'm checked out, man. Playoffs, not going to happen. It's over with. I don't even want to talk about my Sacramento Kings at this point. It's nasty, nasty work. We'll probably get one of them play-in spots if we're lucky. And to be honest, I hope we fall out of that play-in spot so we can keep our first-round pick so Atlanta doesn't get it from us. So at this point, I'm kind of hoping my team just dies a miserable death going into the offseason and we can keep our first-round pick. And then eventually it translates to 2 second-round picks for Atlanta. Kind of going on a tangent here. Only LG. That's another kid that's phenomenal out of Cal. Teddy Buchanan, man. That's another kid that I would look at in the later rounds. He could be a 5th-round pick. I see a lot of talk of him potentially being a 6th, 7th-round guy. I've even seen a few UDFA, spots with Teddy Buchanan, but he's a dog out there in Cal. I wouldn't be against bringing him in. Yeah, 2 Stockton. I agree. I think that's kind of where I am with this Ellis situation. It's kind of like a kick in the dick to Tom Brady because, Kraft and company, they don't want to see a shine out there in Las Vegas, man. It's nasty, nasty work. But yes, they just went out and signed a few linebackers, and this is definitely going to stunt, Christian Ellis's growth, coming off of a good season last year. It's nasty work. It's nasty work, man. But once again, 2 Stockton, if we're really in on Christian Ellis, maybe New England potentially, takes a late round pick for him, so they just don't lose him for nothing at this point. And maybe that is what they're trying to do. Vrabel, Josh McDaniels and company, you nasty son of a bitch, Josh McDaniels. But maybe they are trying to finesse this 4 pick because once again, I think Ellis, if he had his choice, it'd be Las Vegas because of the opportunity. So also, you guys, we talked about missing out on Christian Ellis. Once again, it's not completely over, right? Once again, we could make a trade here. I think it's highly unlikely, but it could happen. So keep your ears, open to the streets, you guys. Maybe there is a move that we make to potentially bring in the likes of a Christian Ellis through trade. But I think once again, we'll probably address this situation through the draft, and then allow some of these in-house guys to have a shot at winning that spot next to a Landon. But also a lot of talk about us, looking at some veteran wide receivers. I put a video out there about a month ago, you guys, that Stephon Diggs was interested in the Raiders and Patriots. He went out there, had a meeting with New England, left without a deal. There was a lot of talk about the Raiders in on Cooper Kupp, even some talk that Cooper Kupp was out there in Vegas and he met with some of our reps out there in Las Vegas. There was some Amari Cooper rumors the other day that I'm not buying into at all. Some Keenan Allen talk, so on and so forth. Well, there was an article that came out, you guys, and I believe Vinny B was the one that dropped it the other day, that it sounds like we may not be fully in on bringing in a veteran wide receiver, and that we may be okay addressing that spot in the draft. So maybe they want to get younger at the wide receiver position and not bring in a guy that's over 30 years old, as Stephon Diggs coming off a torn ACL, Keenan Allen, who's going to be 33 years old, Tyler Lockett, who will be 33 years old. I think he is. Maybe he is 32. I think he'll be 33 this year. Amari, 30, so on and so forth. He went out there, put out an article that says nothing is imminent regarding a free agent receiver signing. And this is coming from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Vinny B put it out there, that the Raiders may not be trying to upgrade at the position, and that maybe is seen as a need that we will address through the draft. We have a ton of draft cap. A ton of salary cap right now. If we wanted to go out and get the likes of a Keenan Allen or Stephon Diggs or one of these guys, we could. But put an article out there, which is kind of interesting, because I'm assuming here that we do want to bring in another corner, a veteran guy, and bring in a veteran presence, which I think eventually will be Tyler Lockett because of the connection to Pete Carroll. But interesting words from Vinny B. That nothing's imminent, in which, nothing's really imminent until anything happens anyways, right? So I'm not acting as though Vinny landed on Plymouth Rock here with this take, but he's hearing some things that maybe, the Raiders aren't going to get a receiver. What do you guys think about this, man? I don't want to overpay a veteran guy. I don't want to overpay a Stephon Diggs who's coming off of a nasty injury and only played in like 6 games last season. I don't want to overpay a Keenan Allen who his career is starting to wind down. Yes, he had a okay year last year in Chicago, over 700 yards receiving. Had a good year as kind of being that third threat behind Roma Dunze and DJ Moore. Amari Cooper had a down season between Cleveland and Buffalo, but you don't want to overpay at that spot. And this is a sneaky class in terms of the wide receiver position. So if we are going to bring in a guy, I probably would bring in a Lockett because of the familiarity he has with Geno Smith, a veteran presence that can help Trey Tucker, kind of turn that corner and become that guy that we thought he could coming out of the 3rd round out of Cincinnati. Elijah Moore as well, DeMarcus. I would love him to bring a 24-year-old. That's not going to cost a ton of money at all. I don't think Elijah is going to cost nothing near what those other guys would bring in, but maybe we do. Maybe we do just look at the wide receiver class and say, hey, we'll get one somewhere in that 2nd to 4th round. At this point, we have a ton of money. I would love to just give Jacoby an extension. He has 1 year left on his deal. Brock's still on his rookie deal. A lot of chatter about Michael Mayer potentially moving on, which I think will keep him. There's no real reason to move from him. But I think we'll address it through the draft. And I do believe that later on down the line, maybe we do take a look at Tyler Lockett, and maybe he does come in and we have him as that veteran guy, that we can, that's very familiar with what Pete Carroll wants out of this new culture that he's trying to put out there in Las Vegas. Let me see. Salute to my sis Niles in the building on the $20 splash. Graphk, salute. What are you thinking about Ward, and what are we doing with AOC? I think that Ward is going to be the number 1 pick in this year's draft, going to Tennessee, and that's really all I think, sis. Honestly, and If he doesn't, let's just say Tennessee takes Abdul Carter or Trav there at 1, he's not getting past Cleveland. Every report out there is that Cleveland is fascinated with Cam Ward, but I do believe they're going to miss out there at number 2 unless they, potentially move up to 1 with Tennessee and swap 1 and 2, and and whatever that costs for them. I know they're high on Cam Ward, but I think that he's going to go to Tennessee at 1. I don't think they want to miss out on the quarterback spot. They'll have him battle it out there with Levis, and Cam Ward will probably be the guy there for the next however long. I think he's going to have a great career at the NFL level. Aiden, it's going to be interesting to see. I just don't think he fits the mold of what Chip Kelly wants to do offensively. Yes, I know Chip Kelly will tailor his offense to whatever quarterback he brings in. Systematically, Chip can kind of, move some things around and play to his quarterback strengths. But I just don't think that he fits the mold of what Chip is trying to do. And honestly, I don't know if Aiden is going to be on this roster. I think we draft one. I think we go into next year with 2 guys on the roster at the quarterback spot. We'll probably get another UDFA, a guy that we can, put on the practice squad. I don't know if Aiden's even going to be on the roster. And that's no knock to Aiden. I think that Aiden shows some signs of life these past few seasons with us as a starter, and then he went out there and made some mistakes as well. And, as he should as a youngster, right, that has played under 2 regimes already. Josh McDaniels drafting him, and then, AP out there and so on and so forth. But I don't even know if AOC is going to be on the roster. I truly don't. 4th round pick, former Purdue guy. I mean, he's on a rookie deal. There's no real guarantees here. He's inexpensive. Maybe they do hold on to him. Maybe they trade him to another team. I don't know what you would get for him. But if I'm a betting man, honestly, I don't think the AOC is going to be on this roster. I don't. I think we'll get one in those mid rounds, and I think we'll maybe bring in another guy as a UDFA. What do they think about Carter Bradley, this new regime? What does Chip Kelly and company think about him? I just think that, honestly, they'll move on from AOC. Could be wrong. And I know a lot of people are on the Aiden train and they think he could be the guy. Look, you guys know that I went to bat for Aiden O'Connell to be the starter this past season, but I don't think that he is the answer for us at all. So, Caps, this is facts. The question is, what team wants AOC? I don't know what team would make a move for him at all. So, salute to Niles. Appreciate you, sis. As always, salute to the 1,000+ people here in the building. Once again, I appreciate you guys. Wipe them feet, hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We went over the Christian Ellis talk. You guys, once again, for those who are just joining, the New England Patriots did match the offer, so it looks like he will be standing pat with the Pats. No pun intended. At least for now. If they want to make a move and trade some draft capital to go get him, maybe, just maybe, New England makes the move. But for now, he will be remaining in New England as one of those linebackers out there with Vrabel. So kind of surprising a little bit, that New England kept him around after signing 2 linebackers. But hey, it is what it is. Also, we went over the Vinny B article that he put out there that nothing is imminent with the Raiders going out to bring in a veteran wide receiver. So for those who are out there screaming from the mountaintops to bring in a Keenan Allen, a Stephon Diggs, and Amari Cooper, one of those type of guys, there's nothing imminent, in the words of Vinny B, that we're going to bring in a veteran guy. So keep an eye on that. I have to kind of beg to differ here. I do believe we're going to bring in a veteran at some point. Maybe it's just not this early in the game. Some of these guys are still trying to find out their market. Like, what is Keenan Allen going to cost? Diggs coming off that injury, what is he truly going to cost? Maybe he's overvaluing himself coming off of that torn ACL. Amari Cooper, some of these guys, they are not signed yet because, once again, what is the market for some of these guys? Cooper Kupp got an insane bag in Seattle. It's kind of nasty. And now Amari and some of these other veteran guys are probably looking at Cooper and that deal that he got in Seattle and going to some of these teams and thinking, this is where we're looking at. And you can't go off of what Cooper Kupp got. Seattle, that was a nasty move from them, but he is from the area. They got Sam Darnold. They want a guy that, we can, a number 1 option, which Cooper Kupp is. Well, let me say this, a number 2 option behind Jackson out there in Seattle, but they paid him number 1 money. Like, they paid him a stupid bag, and for a guy that is rarely available on Sundays. So we talked about that. Also, speaking of quarterback, some people are mentioning, I know Sis brought up, what are we doing with AOC? Well, I know a lot of people are also talking about Shedeur Sanders, which probably won't be available there at 6. I know a lot of people are talking about the likeliness of Jackson Dart being a first-round guy. I don't think that we look that way. The Raiders are set to have Quinn Ewers in for a visit. This is coming off of Pro Football Talk. He will be seeing a few teams, the Colts, the Raiders, the Cowboys. This is coming off of the Combine, you guys, where we heard a ton of rumors and innuendo about the Raiders being interested in, or let me say this, not interested, but intrigued, by Quinn Ewers, that they were impressed by him at the Combine. He has a pro day in Austin that he's set to work out at, that the Raiders will be there to see the young pup out there, young Longhorn. I'm not a Quinn Ewers guy. I live out here in the Dallas area. I know a lot of people love the kid. I'm not that big on the idea of bringing in a Quinn Ewers, even in those middle rounds. But Albert Breer of SI.com reported that he will be set to visit with the Colts, Raiders, and Cowboys. His visits with the Colts and Raiders could count as their 30 pre-draft visits, while Ewers qualifies as a local prospect exempt from that cap with the Cowboys. So once again, and Breer also reported that Ewers is also expected to meet with the Raiders and the Jets ahead of his workout, and that he'll have dinner with the Saints Monday night. So there are some teams potentially interested in bringing in the young Texas prospect. So we shall see where that goes. But if anything is true coming out of the Combine with all the rumors of us being impressed by Quinn Ewers and being impressed by Jalen Milroe, the young kid out of Alabama, this is a sign that maybe, just maybe, we were actually intrigued by the young pup. So we shall see. So, but, top 30 visits, you guys, don't look into every visit as the Raiders they're not going to show their hand completely. Some of these guys will come in and maybe the Raiders really aren't interested, or maybe they are trying to drum up some attention on some of these guys. So, they can move up and down the board, because there may be some other teams very, very interested in some of these guys. So don't look at every top 30 prospect as the Raiders being all in on these guys. You know what I mean? And this could be a situation, once again, they're just trying to see what there is out there. And if he's available in those middle rounds and you didn't bring your quarterback in yet, I have nothing against bringing in a Quinn Ewers or a Jalen Milroe if they're available there in the 3rd or 4th round. And Milroe may be gone earlier because of, the athleticism that he possesses, the measurables that he possesses, the arm strength. We shall see. But salute to Quinn Ewers. Looks like we will have a visit with him very, very soon. Let's get to the chat. I think I'm missing out on a few things. Yes. It's cap. It's cap. If I'm a betting man here, it's all cappuccino, Angel. It's so easy to say the Raiders are in on the likes of a Kenneth Walker because of the connections and ties with Pete Carroll to the Seattle Seahawks. We need a running back, but I don't see Seattle moving on from Kenneth Walker, even though he's missed some football games out there in Seattle. I think they like that 1-2 punch of him and Zach out there, in the backfield in Seattle. So, and this is a deep class. I don't see the Raiders potentially moving a piece to go get the likes of a Kenneth Walker, who's on the last year of his deal with no 5th-year option because he was a second round guy. So I'm going to call cap on that. Anything can happen in the NFL, but I'm going to call cap on that move. Salute to Jason, my dog, my brother. I appreciate you so much, man. Raider Demon King, my guy. Salute to all the new Green Dot Gang members in the building because of my brother, Jason Hunter. If you guys missed out on those 5 and you want to become one, hit the link. It's pinned up top. Jay, my brother, love you, bro. Salute to Cap as well. Eagles can sleepwalk their way into other teams' talent, but if the Raiders show any interest in another team's player and all of a sudden they're God's gift to the sport, man, F the rest of the league. Talk, Cap, talk. My brother, man. Salute to Cap, man. I definitely agree with you, bro. Definitely agree with you, man. Salute to Two Stock. Just feels like a FU move. New England had all weekend to make this decision, and of course, they wait till Monday. We need to smash New England this season. You know what's funny? Two Stock, let me say this. A lot of the reports that are coming even out of New England was that this was a last split-second decision from New England. So I truly believe It's easy to say that this was a kick in the ass to the Raiders because of Tom Brady and the Josh McDaniels going back to New England and so on and so forth. I do believe that Vrabel and company probably looked at this and said, let's really take a look and see if we want to lose this kid for nothing, especially at that price tag. So I don't think that this was honestly, and we had fun with it at the beginning of the show, but I don't think this is a personal thing. I just think that the Patriots aren't that good of a team to allow a kid with some potential, with a ceiling this high, to just walk freely, regardless if they brought in 2 other linebackers, in free agency. I just think that they lack a ton of talent on both sides of the football, and Vrabel's not going to let that kid walk for nothing. So who's to say we can potentially still trade one of those 6 if New England will take it? Hey, man, take one of those 6, bring in Christian Ellis if this regime thinks that he could be a starter for us. But once again, I don't really truly believe that this was a personal attack on the Raiders. I'm going to have fun with it because I hate New England, but they're not that good of a football team to allow talent to walk out the building freely. So, but Two Stock, I feel you. I feel your pain, fam. Salute to my brother, Hug D's, man, and the GOAT mod father himself, gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network memberships. My brother, man, I truly, truly appreciate you, my brother, and I love you, man. Salute to all the new Green Dot gang in the building because of the GOAT himself, Hug D's, my dog. Love you, bro. If you guys missed out, once again, hit the link. It's pinned up top. We need to treat New England like that wicked X. Anger, bang, and bounce. We'll see them this year, and we're going to see them in their place. And I'm excited about that. That may be even a game, Hug, that I go to this year. I'm looking at some road games this upcoming season. I'm intrigued with going to see Jaden Daniels out there in DC, maybe Philly, even though I feel like I may leave that situation in jail. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe I got to kind of pump the brakes on the whole Philly experience because I just look. I'm not gonna let you play with me out there, Philly fans. Neil Wasted are not gonna let you guys play with us out there, man. You're not gonna be pulling on our shit. No, it's not happening. You are not the only insane fan base out there. I want you guys to know this. You can play with the Commanders all you want. You can't play with the Raiders like that. Okay, but I'm looking at New England as a potential spot. I like Boston. I've been out there a few times. Definitely want to go out there and check it out. I may go to that game this upcoming season. Terrence, if we do, bro, we got to get a drink, man. Definitely. That's one place that I have not been yet is DC. So I definitely want to go out there and check it out. Been to VA, been to a few other spots out there, have not been to Washington, DC yet. Chris, talk, Chris. Talk. I love it, man. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Christian Kirk is a Texan, Foxdale. Jacksonville traded him to the Texans earlier this offseason. Let me see. I've always liked Jermaine Pratt. Yeah, he's a baller, man. And once again, he wants to get paid. And what does that look like? I don't think his market value was insane. I think he'll come in with a chip on his shoulder. I like if the Raiders potentially made a move for him. Wouldn't be against that at all. Let me see. Mondo, man, facts. Darnell, what up, Docs? I'm not surprised. It just doesn't go our way. Thanks for that fire content. Salute to my guy, Darnell, man. Appreciate you on a $10 blast, my brother. Salute to you, man. Yeah, nothing's ever a shocker in Raider Nation, man. Shit happens, right? Now, I'm definitely thinking about going to Philly, though, you guys. I love the city of Philadelphia. I think I might just fly up to Jersey, go hang out with my brothers, Wasting the Hammer, and then just drive out to Philly like we did last time. So I think that may be the move this upcoming season. Definitely would love to go to that game. I just hope that we're actually competitive, you know what I mean? And we make that a game. Content. And I see a lot of people also tagging me in the Alec Pierce potential trade target, you guys. I don't know where that came from. No knock to anybody else. I don't know where that one specifically came from, but a lot of people were tagging me on Twitter and Instagram as well. He was their most productive receiver out there in Indianapolis last year. I don't think that Indianapolis is in a situation where they could potentially move on from their best wide receiver. Would I love to have an Alec Pierce? For those who are new to this channel, I promise you, if you go back to 2022, he was one of my favorite receivers in that class, and that was a deep wide receiver class. I'm talking Garrett Wilson. That was a phenomenal wide receiver class. Alec Pierce was one of my favorite guys coming out of Cincinnati. Big body X. He had a nasty. What was it? What yards per reception last year? What was it? It was nasty. I want to see this. Go look at his stats. He's only 24 years old. He's still on his rookie deal. 22.3 yards per reception last year. Nasty. And he had 824 yards on only 37 receptions with 7 touchdowns, with a shaky quarterback situation out there with Anthony Richardson, and who else was out there? I think they had a veteran out there also. I think who was it last year? That was the veteran guy. Was it Flacco? I think it was Flacco last year. So Richardson going out with an injury and then them benching him and Flacco coming in. They didn't really have a good quarterback situation out there. For him to still be out there, to go out there and still lead them in receiving yards, 7 touchdowns, I believe that led them at the receiving position as well in 16 games. I would love to bring in an Alec Pierce, but I do not believe the Colts will move on from their number one option, who is still a young kid that has not reached his ceiling yet. So I know he's a big body guy. We need that wide receiver, that X guy on the boundary, 6'3", 211, former teammate of Trey Tucker. For those who are not familiar with the kid, those guys are friends and very close. They both come from the Cincinnati, university. I wouldn't be against that, but I don't know where this came from. And I got to be honest with you. I don't think that Indianapolis would move on from their young stud wide receiver, Alec Pierce. Would I love it? Definitely. But I don't think that that's going to happen. Josh Downs is definitely one of their number one options, but I believe I think Pierce was their number one guy last season. I want to look at Josh Downs' production. And I like Downs a lot as well. 23-year-old. He had 5 touchdowns, 803 yards last year. He definitely had way more receptions than Alec Pierce. So he got the ball a lot more, 72 receptions compared to what Alec Pierce put up out there, which was 37. So he was definitely the guy that led them in targets. But Josh Downs, 11.2 yards per reception, 5 touchdowns. Alec Pierce definitely led them in most of the production out there that was at the receiver position. Let me see. Sleeps. I'm definitely thinking about that. And I've been talking to my guy, Darcy, about going out there and doing a live in the parking lot this upcoming season, man. That would be fun. Definitely thinking about that. Salute to Sleeps. That's another city that I have not been to in terms of football yet. Have not been out. I've been to Kansas City numerous times, but never been out there to watch a game. Hug, y'all. We are exactly 1 month from the draft. Let's effing go, nation. In Spy Tech and Pete, we trust. Talk that talk. Talk that talk, Hug. I am excited. I am counting down the days. Once again, for those who are being tough on this franchise about not making all these splashy, sexy moves in free agency, it all starts for us next month in the draft, where great teams make it a thing to build their team through the draft, you guys. So once again, let's not jump out the window over all these free agency signings and so on and so forth. These guys going other directions, going to different teams. We made the most drastic move, which was moving a 3rd round pick for our QB1. We got our quarterback. Now it's time to go address a lot of these needs in the draft. It does suck that we lost out on Christian Ellis today. Definitely. Would I like to go bring in a veteran wide receiver? Definitely. We're not out on that yet. There's still a ton of time to bring in one of these guys. Would I like to maybe go get another offensive lineman not named Alice Kappa? Of course. But I'm trusting the process, and I think that they want to do this thing the right way and build this thing through the draft. Salute to my guy, Spive in the build, man. See Spivey, man. I think I see Spivey. Spivey here? I could have swore I seen Spivey. Pierce beat us 2 years ago on 2 catches for Minshew. Pierce piled up yards on deep throws and single coverage. Talk that talk, Wade. And I know you know more than anybody because you live in the Indianapolis area. So I know you're very familiar with Alec Pierce. And once again, I was really, really high on that kid coming out of Cincinnati. I would love it. I just don't think that Indianapolis is going to make that move. Like for what? You know what I mean? They're a young team. They can't lose. They can't lose talent. We just talked about New England matching Christian Ellis's contract because it's not easy to lose young talent to just allow them to walk out the building. And honestly, what are you giving up for the likes of an Alec Pierce? Would love to have him in the building. I think he could be a phenomenal option for us. But what does that look like? What is New England going to ask for? I mean, Indianapolis going to ask for. Mason, I do not think that Alec Pierce is available at all. At all. I think that they would be crazy to move on from him. Real talk. Let me see. Yeah, man, you can't. We can't build a dynasty overnight. Let the process happen and be patient. Facts. Salute to my guy Freight Train in the building. Where's the flag? It's good to see you back, brother. Let me see. Jonathan's in the building, 916. Salute to my guy. At this point, it just depends on who's on the board. You know, I'm kind of just been repeating myself a lot with this situation. If Trav is there, you take Trav. If Abdul Carter somehow, some way drops to 6, there's no way that you can pass up on pairing him with Max Crosby, regardless if you brought Kuntz back, regardless if you have Tyree Wilson still around, you pull the trigger on Abdul Carter. But the thing is this, at 6, it's one of those two guys are GT for me. Simple and plain. And, you know, if Sanders is there somehow, some way at 6 and they don't want to pass up on him, I'm not against bringing in Shador. But if Trav is there or Abdul Carter's there, you can't pass up on that type of talent. And if they're gone, which I definitely think they're both going to be off the board, go get my guy Ashton Jeanty. Go get him. Regardless of how much I love Amarion Hampton, regardless of how much we love these other running backs, I don't care. Go bring him in. Let me see. Yeah. Like, for what? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way. There's no way. And Indianapolis is already out there catching a lot of flack with their fan base, with them not being competitive and all the drama that's going on between those walls in Indianapolis. You know, the Anthony Richardson experience. You know, I know Pat McAfee was catching a lot of flack for being harsh on his former franchise. They cannot. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. We could have fun and throw all these scenarios into the universe in the offseason, though, right? It'd be phenomenal to have Alec Pierce out there. It'd be phenomenal to throw a mid-round pick at him and go get him, which wouldn't work. But, you know, it's not realistic. It's not realistic. Now, if he does become a Raider somehow, some way, I will eat crow. It is the Colts, and you just never know. Let me see. Caps. Got to keep it a buck here, man. I'm not mad about that. Just like I wouldn't have been mad if AP won 9 games last season. You know, with all the injuries and what we sustained at the quarterback position. Like, if we can win 9 this year, and I think, what did Carroll go? He went 9. Nose ring, y'all. No boogie, nose ring. Pete Carroll went 9-8 back-to-back seasons with Seattle before they moved on from him, right? I mean, look, we're coming off a 4-13 season. If you could find a way to win 9 games, I'm going to be ecstatic. That means that we were competitive. That means that we potentially snuck in as a wild card, or that means that we potentially were just a game out to potentially sneak in. This is year 1 with Pete Carroll. So I wouldn't be upset about going 9-8 here. You know, but you never know, man. The NFL is a crazy, crazy place. We've seen teams go from being one of the worst teams in the NFL to being one of the greatest teams. I mean, look at the Commanders last year. They went and drafted Jaden Daniels. They went and brought Adam Peters. They went and brought Quinn in, and you know what I mean, the OC, and boom, you know, they're literally a game away from the damn Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So you just truly never know. And you kind of look at Geno's record playing indoors, and you're like, wow, man, can this guy continue that in Vegas? You can play a ton of games indoors. You know, you got the Chargers indoors. You know, you got a ton of games at Allegiant Stadium. I mean, we got the Colts this year indoors. Think about it. How many games we got at home? I mean, you're looking at what? I mean, half the games, 8-9 games. You're looking at 1 with the Chargers, 1 with the Colts. What are some other games, you guys, that we may be playing indoors this year? I'm drawing a blank here, but I think that's pretty much it. But Man, let Geno go to work. Let Geno go to work. Go out there and win every home game. Go get the Chargers out of there in LA. Go beat the Colts in Indianapolis. And then boom. Maybe we can start talking about the P word. Houston as well. Fitzy, there you go. That's another game that I will be at. So we got a ton of indoor games, you guys, this year. This is something to be excited about because Geno has been phenomenal historically playing indoors. Any given Sunday, Kenny, this is facts. My brother Ty in the building. It's always good to see my dog. Why are we trying to do deals with the Pats? Jay McDummy is back over there. They're not going to work with us. I honestly feel like they're just being spiteful, man. Salute to my guy Ty with the $5 holla. I appreciate you, man. And hey, man, once again, you know, I've said this guy. I think you're just pulling up to the show, Ty. I don't think that this is really being spiteful. As Raider fans, we hate the Patriots. So it's easy to be like, fuck the Patriots. Fuck Graphk, fuck Josh McDaniels, fuck Vrabel, fuck everything they got going on out there, right? It's easy. They took Spillane, they took Chasen, right? They went and signed Marcus Epps, the New England Raiders. I just think, honestly, once again, and I'll repeat myself for the third or fourth time, they're not a good enough football team to allow talent like Christian Ellis to walk out the building for free. So, Ty, keep an eye on. It's going to be interesting to see how high the Raiders are on Christian Ellis because, once again, they can make a move for him. We can still go trade for him. We can still potentially trade for Christian Ellis if they want some draft capital. And there's a scenario here where maybe New England reaches out and says, hey, give us one of your 6th-round picks if you're really that high on them. We got 2 extra 6th through comp picks this year. Maybe they make that move. Maybe they go that direction. So maybe this Christian Ellis story isn't done just yet. You never know. You never know. Salute to my guy, Ty. Hey, Jaron, we're always going to be smoking the Hopi and my brother in the offseason, man. You just never truly know. You know, I could be the pessimistic Raider fan and just be here every day with you guys and say we're going to lose every single game and so on and so forth. Well, look, man, my Raiderdom will not allow me to do so. I want this team to succeed, and I don't want to throw negativity into the universe before we even see a snap being played. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, but definitely on the Hopium, my brother. Every offseason we're here doing that. But hey, you know, when you got Pete Carroll, when you bring in a spy tech, you got Tom Brady in the fold, and you make a move for Geno, who's a top 15 quarterback, you know, and could potentially be a top 10 quarterback this year, and coming off of a 4,300-yard, you know, passing year with one of the worst O-lines in the NFL and a ground attack that couldn't get rolling. Hey, man, I'm excited. I'm excited. Don't let Geno get too comfortable in the warm weather. Salute to User. Salute to Raider Mason. We got to answer the call from Pete and show up in Vegas. Make home field a true advantage. I come at least once time a year from New Jersey, man. We love that, man. Keep that going too, Mace. But once again, man, those tickets are high as hell, bro. Look, man, unless they comp me those tickets, I'm not pulling up out there and spending that kind of money. Real talk, man. When I was out there, we were doing our blackout events and stuff like that. We usually got tickets for the F. So I'd be at a ton of games. You know what I mean? We kick it out there in the Champions Club and vibe out, you know, on the sideline and shit like that. But it's just expensive, dog. It really is, man. So I get why you only go out once a year for sure. But I'm looking at a home game this season. I don't know which one yet, but I'm definitely taking a look at one of those games. It's been too long since I've been in Vegas. I think the last games that I've been to, the last game I went to was I had tickets to the Raiders-Steelers game a few seasons back. I got too wasted the night before and passed out in my room and missed it. Hammer went by himself. I was cooked. But other than that, I think the last game I went to was, I don't know. It might have been the Broncos game. Might have been one of the Broncos games. Let me see. Yeah, I'm thinking about that one too, Ty. We may have to meet up in Jersey, man, and get the nation together out there and pull up crazy deep out there in Philly. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, what are you guys waiting on? Make sure you hit that sub button. I'm seeing a bunch of new names in the comment section. You know, it's free. It's for the F you guys. It helps us keep us in the algorithm. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys can. Almost an hour in. Once again, man, salute to everybody spending some time with me this Monday afternoon, whether you're in, you know, the West Coast, the East Coast, out here in Central Time. I just appreciate every single one of you guys for rocking with me. Going over the Christian Ellis situation. Once again, you guys, Tom Pelissero was first on it today. New England matched that offer, so it's going to be interesting and intriguing to see if the Raiders potentially move some draft capital to bring him in. We're going to see how high they are on him if they want to still try and make a move to bring in the young linebacker. Let me see. Raiders full. I mean, it'd be interesting, right? But, you know, I know the Josh McDaniels connection to AOC. I get that. I understand it. I know that he was high on him coming out of Purdue that year. You know, he was more that prototype, statuesque type guy that Josh McDaniels likes. I don't think they make that kind of move unless they move Hilton, or who's the kid? Milton. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see, but they probably want to move Joe Milton first. Let me see. Salute to Hug. And it sounds like they are engaging in phone calls for the young Tennessee product, Joe Milton. Wait a minute. Can you attend games on your credentialed media tag? I definitely talk to the Raiders and Allegiant to see what's up. You need to be in the building, Grab. Definitely. There's certain events that you can definitely do that with. Definitely. Not all of them. You know, not all of them. The Raiders have their certain media that they've been dealing with for a long time, and they don't really open up those lines of communication for just everybody. It's not like with NFL credentials, Hug. It's not like you can go to every game and be on the sideline and cover everything. That's not the way it works. The Raiders have certain people that are hired under the Raiders that they can have at every game. You know, the Vinny B's. You know, he has access and Vinny B does, and the Hondos of the world there most of the games. You know, those type of guys. But I have access to the NFL draft. I have access to the Shrine Bowl, the Senior Bowl. I have access to the Pro Bowl, the Super Bowl, through the NFL. And each team, they have their own hirings that they deal with. And once again, you know, I love my Raiders. I would never want to work for them. I would never want to. I love them too much. I wouldn't want to. I'm close enough. Let me just say that. I'm close enough. Unless there was some crazy bag they just pull up, I'd do it. But I'm close enough to the situation to not have to do that. But I have access to a lot with my credentials. Just that doesn't mean you could be at every game. You know. When you see us on the sidelines and stuff like that, you know, like right now, it's because we have connections with coaches or, you know, with the Raiders or other teams that we're going to, and so on and so forth. Salute to JJM Director, my guy. I have that weird feeling that Shiloh's going to play with a chip on his shoulder and cook. Pick him up in the late rounds? I don't even think you're going to have to pick him up in the late rounds. Unless some team that drafts Shador wants to make him happy. You know what I mean? And they bring him in because of that, which I can definitely see happening if Cleveland took him at 2 and they looked in the later rounds. But I think that Shiloh may be an undrafted guy. He's a hard hitter. You know, there's questions with him in coverage. He's kind of undersized. You know what I'm saying? Like the durability is definitely a key with him. He's had some injuries. I like Shiloh. But honestly, you guys, I don't want – and this is not me beating up on him because I love the Sanders family and I love that camaraderie that they have. But I have him as a UDFA. I do, unless a team wants to appease Dion and appease Shador, they may bring him in. But talent-wise, I have him as a UDFA that could potentially be a special teams type guy that would have to earn some reps at the safety position. Salute the director, man. Salute the Raider. Jay, my guy. He says Shiloh at 6. Do you think a trade between Milton and AOC makes sense? I'm not a Milton guy, but if they wanted to make that move, I would do it. It makes sense for New England, right? I mean, it actually makes a ton of sense for us. I mean, it does. I mean, you bring in a guy that has a ton of starting experience already with Aiden that was drafted by your new offensive coordinator. So if anything happens with Drake May, there's some trust there between Aiden and Josh McDaniels. Makes a ton of sense for New England. And then with us, You bring in Geno. He could throw the deep ball. There's a ton of similar skill set right there with Milton and him. And maybe Milton can learn because he has a ton of accuracy issues. The thing with Milton, you guys, was he couldn't throw the football at the back of a barn. Right? I was there at the combine. All the arm strength was on full potential. On full, front street. Like, we watched him throw the ball. Like, the arm strength is there. Maybe he can learn a ton under Geno Smith, helping with his accuracy. Maybe Chip Kelly can be a guy that can unlock that full potential out of him. I would love it. I would love it. And I'm not a Milton guy. I'm more of an AOC guy than a Milton guy. But I would make that move 10 times out of 10. Definitely, because once again, I think we have Geno in the building who Milton can grow and learn a lot from. And you have Chip Kelly, a guy that, could really work with the kid. And then it makes a ton of sense for the New England Patriots because of the connection to the guy that drafted him out of the 4th round. Ron, this is facts, brother. Accuracy issues can definitely be corrected. You have to be in the right situation. And I just don't think that Joe Milton fits the description of what Josh McDaniels likes out of his quarterbacks. I don't. He's mobile. I just don't see him being that guy that he wants to, he wants that pocket guy. Drake May can get loose too, and he has some mobility to his game. But I just think that Josh McDaniels wants more of that guy that's going to stand firm in the pocket. Milton can get loose too. I don't see that fit there. And I'm buying all the smoke about them trying to move Milton out there in New England. I'm buying all of it. Foxdale, undrafted. Bro, this guy may go in the first 2 rounds. He may go in the first 2 rounds. I have him going in the second, and I have maybe a team potentially taking a chance on him in the late first. I watched him very closely at the Pro Day. There was definitely a wide margin between Jonah and the other talent out there from those other teams, a clear margin. Jonah's going to be a first 2. He's going to be a first or second day guy. Simple and plain. I don't think there's any way that he escapes the second round. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, but I'm high on the kid. And watch his tape too. Dude's a mauler. I like that kid. So I think he'll be a second round guy. Potentially someone could take him there in the late first to one of those great, contenders, and they can turn him into a perennial all-pro guy. Potentially. Justice, I can see that. I can definitely see that. I would hate to see Jonah go to the Chiefs. Let me see. Salute once again, everybody here in the building, you guys. We got almost 1,500 people rocking with us on Twitter and on YouTube. Get some questions in, you guys. Let's have some fun before we head out of here. Yeah, Kenny, I'm not against that at all, man. I would love to bring in Jonah, man. And Dan, a lot of people are talking about that. Potentially moving Glaze to guard. He played well for us at right tackle last year when Mumford went down. I have no problem moving DJ Glaze there if you bring in a guy of Jonah's ability. I have no issue with that. I have no issue with that. Even if we get the kid out of Missouri and you have him as your right tackle opposite of Colton, you can push Glaze in the guard right there next to JPJ, and you may have something there. I like DJ Glaze. I don't even care if it's tackle or guard, but he can play both spots. Let me see. Salute to Bosco. Trading picks for players we can just pay. Shaking my effing head. I hear you, Bosco. I hear you, my brother. I hear you, man. Salute to my guy Bosco in the building on a $2 special. Justice, I like Glaze at tackle too. S. Dot in the building, my brother. It's always good to see my guy S. Dot. Have y'all compared Jonah? You see his tape? No. I'm gonna tell you right now. I like Jonah a lot, but the kid from Missouri's tape is. This may sound like a reach here a little bit, but I think he's miles ahead. I really enjoyed. I was kind of in awe by some of the kids' tape out of Missouri. That dude he's a baller, bro. I always butcher his name. I don't even want his Mambao, something like that. That kid's a baller. He's a baller, man. I definitely enjoyed his tape more than Jonah's, but I still like the kid Jonah a lot. Let me see. US, it depends. Troy, we did not get him. The Pats matched the Raiders deal. It just depends on what team and what prospect is available there. You know what I'm saying? USC, like, let's just say we're at 6 and Shador's available, a quarterback. Now you're looking at, let's just say the Saints want to move up if they think that Shador can be the guy, or the Jets want to move up a spot and they want to get their quarterback, whether that's Shador or Jackson Dart, and they're both on the board. It just depends on who is there and what you can finesse them with. You know, it'd be great to get Dallas out of something, move to 12, and they go up and get whoever it is that they think could be the guy, whether that's McMillan to pair with CeeDee Lamb. I don't think they're going to take a running back that early because they brought in 2 guys, 2 veterans in free agency. It just depends on what team, you know, wants to move up. If that's Pittsburgh, if that's Dallas from 12, if it's the Jets right behind us, if it's the Saints not too far behind us, it just depends. We need specific, you know, specific scenarios in order to kind of think about what we can get in terms of draft capital. Yeah, he's a baller, bro. He's a baller. And I wouldn't be against it, Fox. I wouldn't be against it at all, because you want to solidify the trenches. And if you think that Glaze can be that guy at right guard for you in the future, and you think that he can be that guy, that dude that you just placed right next to JPJ and the kid out of Missouri, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. The dude's a baller, man. Like, real talk. I watched him protect Brady Cook a lot this season, and he definitely shines on tape. So if we take him there, I have no issue at all. I have no issue at all. Get your potential star right tackle of the future opposite of Colton Miller, and then you can move Glaze over and you have your potential all-pro future star in JPJ there at center. And then you got Kappa, in which, you know, where does he fit in the grand scheme of things? I think that they really, truly look at him as a starter, and I think that they can get what he used to do out of Tampa Bay out of him this year. Like Belton a lot too, Lewis. Like that kid out of North Carolina State, right? Let me see. That'll happen, Martin. That'll happen. The thing is this. We have a guy coming off his first 1,000 yards receiving in Jacoby, right? And he's looking to build on that. You have one of the top tight ends in the league in Brock Bowers, who can probably be the number 1 guy this year, coming off of a monster historical year at the tight end position. You still have Michael Mayer on this roster that is coming off of a season where he was dealing with some personal things. And I know he wants to show this organization in the NFL and the fan base that he is who most people thought he was when we took him the 2nd round out of Notre Dame. And you got Trey Tucker coming off of a 100-yard, you know, receiving season where he didn't really have a quarterback that can get him the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, Gardner struggled to get him the football. And now you have a guy that can throw the deep ball consistently in Geno Smith. So, yes, we need some targets. But I'm going to be honest here, man. Like, we're going to get one. We're going to get 1 or 2 in this year's draft. But it's not necessarily a need in free agency, even though I do believe that they will bring in a Tyler Lockett or one of those guys later on. It doesn't have to be this week. Doesn't have to be next week. You know what I mean? It didn't have to be last week. It didn't have to be 2 weeks ago. You know, we're not done yet. We have a ton of talent, a ton of money to still play with. I expect another veteran presence in, you know, before the draft, and then we can go into the draft and look and see what they want there. Whether it's Trey Harris, I think you're going to be looking at your X option in the draft. I think you're looking at your X option at the receiver position in the draft, whether that's Trey Harris, you know, whether that is McMillan, if they're high on him and they want to bring him in as that big body X, or you know, a Savion, you know, TCU guy that they can look at in the mid rounds, or, you know, maybe even a Nick Nash later on out of San Jose State. But there's some options there. There's some options there. Mason, I got you. We can do a mock on the way out. We can definitely do a mock on the way out. Let me see. I'm looking forward to it. I have no intel on it yet, though. I haven't even really done any homework on it at all. AC would love it, Dan. I just talked to Shep the other day at the Pro Day. Had an interview with him at the Shrine Bowl and spoke with him briefly at the Pro Day. You know, he'll be a late round guy, potential UDFA, to be honest. So, you know, 6'3", I believe. Shepard is an interesting talent that you can take a look at later. Let me see. Paul, that's interesting, right? That's interesting. They just signed, I think they re-signed another former Raider. Who did the Pats sign? I could have swore it was a former Raider out there that they just signed. It was Austin Hooper, right? Yeah, they signed him to a 1-year deal. That'd be fucking hilarious if Josh McDaniels said, you know what, give me my former second rounder that he moved up to go get from Notre Dame. Hooper, pair those two guys out there. I can see that. That's an interesting one, Paul. Michael, if he wants out New England, Josh McDaniel, I see that. For Ellis in the 4th round pick. You potentially get your starting linebacker next to a Landon, and then you get a 4th round pick. I don't think you get a 4th, though. I think you'll get a later pick. I think you get like a 5th or a 6th if you're lucky, because they're still parting ways with the Christian Ellis in that trade if that did happen. That's an interesting one, though, Paul. That's interesting. Mayer for Christian Ellis in a 4th round pick. I think you get – I like that scenario. Salute to Paul with a haymaker there. I like that. And I love Michael Mayer. I don't want to move Michael Mayer. But if he asks out, if he wants out, and I haven't heard anything about that, you know, we do have our number one option in Brock. Maybe he does want to go somewhere and be the number one guy. Who's to say? But if he asks out, that's an interesting scenario right there. Salute to my guy Paul with a haymaker, man. Let me see. Justice, there's no word if Mayer really truly wants out at all. And one thing I can say about Mayer is he said it publicly that the organization backed him so much last season when he was going through wherever he was going through and he missed a ton of games, that there's been no clear signal that he wants to move on from the Raiders. So I still believe he'll remain a Raider, but he is one of our top trade chips if we decide to make a move somewhere here, to go get another talent to bring in. He's definitely our number one trade chip. Let me see. Just Raiders, baby. Look, I've said it since day one, man. If you're going to move him, I don't like it. Keep Mayer in the building. He's a phenomenal option. Look, it sounds like he's going to be prepared to go in 2025. It sounds like the personal issues that he was dealing with are behind him. There's no reason to move on from Michael Mayer, especially when you're moving Brock Bowers around so much. You have him in the slot. You put him on the outside on the boundary. He can move at H-back. There's so much you can do with Brock. You still want that traditional tight end in Michael Mayer, man. Maybe it's just my Notre Dame bias here, but I would love to keep Michael Mayer around. Let me see. Yeah, I don't see. You know what I'm saying? And there were reports coming out that the Raiders were fielding calls on Michael Mayer, but it sounded like teams were calling about Michael Mayer, and nothing happened from that. Now the draft is a month away. Maybe calls can be made again, but it sounds like there were teams reaching out, and I heard the Rams were one of them. So there were teams kind of fielding, calls for Michael Mayer and his services, which I heard that the Rams were one of them. And I spoke to a few guys. Actually, I spoke to who was it? No, two different guys. One that covers the Rams, and there was another one that covered the Colts, I believe. I think it was the Colts. But there was a few teams that were interested in potentially bringing in Michael Mayer. But those were teams making calls on him and not the Raiders making calls on trading him. So let me see. Flores is stupid. Once again, you guys, I see people in the comment. There's no actual solid evidence of Michael Mayer saying that he wants out at all. Okay. He's a Raider, homegrown talent, hasn't even got a chance to even reach the full potential that he has coming out of, coming Notre Dame, former second round pick. Let's pump the brakes on the whole Michael Mayer talk, man. He's on a rookie deal, and he's here. He's here. Some people say that, maybe he wants to get out and become a number one guy. Well, I think personally next to Brock, that makes him better. That allows him to, frequently get open more. When you got a Brock that you have to, keep eyes on and keep tabs on every single down, I don't think it makes any sense for Michael Mayer to move on. Let me see. Steven, maybe. JD, I agree. That is the best way to say it. Mayer is our tight end one. Bowers, you can't put a name on. That's it. Simple and plain. Simple and plain. So that's what I'm on, man. That's what I'm on. Let me see. I'm not against that. Bring in a veteran linebacker like a Shaq Thompson, like a Mosley, and then go draft another one. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that, Steven. He went to Philly. Chris. Harrison Bryant signed with Philadelphia. So he went out there to a Super Bowl winning team, and he'll probably look like gold out there with Philadelphia. Oh, Marco, this is facts, bro. This is facts. One thing about the Raiders organization is they back their players. If they're going through some personal shit or they're just going through anything in life, Mark and company are definitely going to make sure that they're good. You know what I mean? So you're definitely right. If he would have went through what he went through last year, I can definitely see other organizations in the NFL just say, we got to move on from there. He's just, at this point, he's a liability. So I agree with you, Marco. Definitely. Let's see. Salute once again, everybody here in the building. Get a few questions in, you guys, before we get out of here. Hardy, it's not the pick that I'm really that high on. I like Graham. If we took him at 6, I wouldn't be mad. I'd probably be low-key disappointed because we just, read up with Adam Butler. We still have Tyree Wilson who can kick in, when need be. I just think that I don't know. I'd like the pick. I wouldn't love the pick. I'd love Gene T at 6. I would love Travis Hunter at 6. I would absolutely love Abdul Carter at 6. I would just like Graham at 6. If Graham's the pick, I wouldn't be like, you're not going to see me jumping around and throwing shit because I'm excited if we took him at 6. I just be like, okay, good pick. You're stocking up that defensive line. Cool with that. But, yeah. Come on, man. Wipe them feet, y'all. 812 on YouTube, and we only have 294 likes. What are we doing here? Get those thumbs up, you guys. Wipe them feet, man. Also, hit that subscribe button. And also, if you're on Twitter, I think we have like 800 people on Twitter, man. Jump over to YouTube, OLV Raiders Network, and hit that thumbs up as well. Donald, it just depends on where he is health-wise. He's missed a ton of ball these last 2 years. There's a reason the Jets moved on from him. I would love CJ Mosley because of the character he has, because of the leadership and the veteran that he is. Would love him in the building. It just depends on where he is in terms of health. The same thing with Shaq Thompson. As long as he's healthy, I have no problem bringing in either one of those guys. They both just missed a ton of football these last 2 seasons. Let me see. Crazy. Ron Justice ain't shit. Salute to my brother CGR in the building as well. Wait, I can't wait, bro. I'm literally about to get off here in a second and watch it. Can't wait. Yeah, man. And the Raiders have shown interest in Shaq Thompson. So there's that. And we talked about that weeks ago. I got some intel on that situation and broke that news. I was told that I can do so. Let me say that, by the party that I received the information from. Let me see. Yeah, Mondo, it's in another country right now. That's why. WWE's on their run outside the country, so it's been starting early. August hours, nothing on Keenan. You know what? Let me look at. I'm going to look something up real quick. Nothing on Keenan Allen yet. There was a report that came out that the Chargers may be interested in him again. So that's kind of funny. Let me see. Not seeing anything. This is just all rumors, you guys. Rams name best fit for Pro Bowl wide receiver Keenan Allen. The LA, reunion. That'd be interesting. Even after they brought Devontae in with Puka out there, that wouldn't even be fair. Keenan being targeted by the Bills would be a shockwave move. Maybe the Bills can use another one. They just brought Josh Palmer in and paid him a shit ton of money. There's no connections here with him at all. And, we do have his former wide receivers coach from Chicago and from LA. So there's a connection there. But I don't know, if that's the reason why they would bring him in. Let me see. I didn't know. Hold on. Okay. Cheese. You talking about the safety? The safety. Yes. Come on, man. I love hearing stories about my guys out there in Sacramento, man. It's about the safety. The Grant boys always lit, man. Let me see. Moves made in the shadows and calculated signings are something we as a fan base haven't seen in years. Trust the process. Facts, man. Facts. Nah, I'm not, Flores. I'm not. It's not one of those years. Detroit Buddha will not be in the building. No, sorry, bot. Let me see. Nah, he's been fairly healthy these past 2 seasons, though. Like real talk. There's no reason to not bring him in, and he doesn't have to be the number one option anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a problem with bringing in a Keenan Allen. He's been pretty healthy these past 2 seasons, y'all. I'm looking right now. Games played in 2023. Played in 13 games. He had 1,200 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns. Last year, he played in 15 games, and he had 744 yards and 7 touchdowns. So, I mean, yeah, he's missed a few games. Missed 4 in 2023, where he had a really good season for the Chargers. He missed 2 games last year. If you're not paying him wide receiver 1 money, which you wouldn't be, I don't have a problem with bringing in a Keenan Allen if he misses 2 or 3 games for the season. I have no problem with that. Because once again, you're not bringing in Keenan Allen to be all-pro Keenan Allen. So, yeah, exactly, Jay. He would. You're not bringing him in to have 100-plus catches. He'd probably be your third option, like realistically, behind Brock, behind whatever rookie you bring in and Jacoby. He may even be the 4th option at this point. He said, give the Rams Mayor in the 5th for Puka. Yo, bro. Big Vay ain't done, bro. That would never happen. Puka is a premier wide receiver, young on a rookie deal that they're not moving off from him. So that's fucking hilarious. Salute to everybody. Once again, we'll go over real quick what happened here on today's show. For those who are just pulling up, I see a few more 100 people just popped into the building. We talked about the Tom Pelissero tweet, you guys. The Patriots officially matched the Raiders offer sheet to linebacker Christian Ellis. Per source, he is staying in New England. Once again, we talked about a scenario where the Raiders may potentially trade some draft capital to New England. Keep an eye on that. But for now, it looks as though Christian Ellis will remain in New England. We talked about the Raiders will be meeting with Quentin Ewers. He's set to visit the Colts, Raiders, and the Cowboys. He'll be doing some pre-draft visits, top 30 visits with the Colts, us, Cowboys, and it looks like he will be having dinner also with the Saints Monday night, and it looks as though he will be having a workout also with the Jets. So keep an eye on Quinn Ewers. That's not one of my guys in this draft. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a big fan of Quinn Ewers. But, hey, if they take him in the mid-rounds and they can develop him into something, cool. There's other players that I'm more high on, the Kyle McCords of the world, the Will Howards of the world. I would preferably go that route, even the Jalen Milroe. You guys know I'm not a Milroe guy, but I would rather have those three guys over Quinn Ewers. But if they think they can develop him into something, okay, here. I'm cool with it. Cool with it. We talked about the Vinny B article. It looks like nothing is imminent for the Raiders to potentially bring in a veteran wide receiver. So something to monitor moving forward. If, like I said before, if I'm a betting man, you guys, I'm expecting the Raiders to potentially bring in a veteran wide receiver at some point, i.e. Tyler Lockett, a guy that the familiarity with Pete Carroll is just easy, and the camaraderie and the familiarity he has with Geno Smith, it just makes all the sense in the world to bring him in, even though we still have Trey Tucker in the building. Makes sense. So, but other than that, you guys, we'll keep you guys updated with anything else that is going on Raider related. You guys want to do a quick mock on the way out? You want to do a quick mock, or are you guys kind of mocked out? You want to do a quick mock on the way out? We can do one before we get out of here. I got some things I need to do today. Let me see. I'm just happy we have a capable QB. Okay. Yep. People saying, let's do the mock. All right, let's mock it up. Let's mock it up. Y'all gonna get mad at me. I'm gonna keep taking the same players over and over and over, and y'all about to hate me. 7 rounds, fast. Raiders, boom, boom. Present, share screen, bing. CGR, my brother, I appreciate you. All right, we will do trades, you guys. We will do trades here. So the Raiders move back to 23. Shit. That's tough. You're moving what? 17 spots back for a second-round pick, a third-round pick, a fourth-round pick, and a future second. Move back with the Chargers to 22. You get 55, 86, a future second, and a future third. I don't know if I want to miss out on some blue chip talent here, you guys, because it's all that draft capital is great, but there's players on the board here. Shador, Will, Ginty, Graham. I don't know if I want to move on from this pit. Like there's just too much talent here. There's too much talent here. Let me hide this real quick. We're looking at Graham. We're looking at Ginty. We're looking at Will Johnson. I don't think the Shador is going to be here. We're looking at McMillan. See, man, y'all, damn, dude. Like, do you really want to go get your quarterback of the future here? Do you really want to get your quarterback of the future here, or do you want to take an impact player immediately in Ginty? Will Johnson scares me, you guys, with that injury. A little freak accident at his pro day. You guys know I'm a Shador guy, man. But I don't think this is realistic. And I got to be honest here. We're going to do this the realistic way, okay? We're not going to do the whole, Shador, look. We know that Cleveland is interested in him. We know the Giants are high on him. Y'all going to hate me for it. Taking Ginty there. Hate me all you want. It is what it is. I like this. You can trade back 10 spots right here and pick up an extra pick. I'm going to take that. Just move out 10 spots. You get 78, another third. Boom. I'm cool with that because there's still going to be a ton of talent here. No future. Nah. So now we're here in the second round. And things can get interesting here. You can go offensive line, which this is what I'm probably going to do here because you just got a premier running back, a future potential all-pro guy in GT. There's quarterbacks available here, right? You can look at Jackson Dart. You can look at one of those talents. You can look at potentially beefing up the defense here with Landon Jackson, a guy that can potentially be the future opposite of Max Crosby. But Trey Amos is here, a guy that could potentially be a starter down the road for you at the corner position. But I'm going Jonah here. I'm not messing around. Get my guy Jonah. I'm not playing around at all. Future, no. Future, no. All right, so we got some help there in the trenches with Jonah in the second round. Now I'm looking at, damn, man, Thomas is there at the corner spot out of Florida State. You can look there. You can look at the DT position with Darius there. I like him a lot. I'm going to look at the wide receiver spot right here. Jalen Royals is there. We can look at going to get a linebacker here in Chris Paul. Jack, oh, man. Let me go to receivers. Jalen Knowles there. Okay, I'm looking. I could go corner here. Or I could go wide receiver. All right, so what I'm going to do is let me go to defense real quick. Let me look at what corners are still available. I did pick up an extra spot or an extra pick. So, all right, I'm going to stay away from over there. Go back to all. Go to offense. Look at receiver. Damn, Higgins just went off the board the pick before. I may go Royals here. We could go back-to-back Iowa State guys right here, Higgins and Jalen Noel, man. But we need that big body X guy. And this is another guy that's going to play in the slot. He kind of like reminds me of Hunter Renfrow here. You can move him around, but this is a kid that I'm really high on right here. Really high here. Henderson is there. You don't want to double up at running back this early. You could because he's probably the best running back or one of them in pass pro here, and he's familiar with Chip Kelly. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get Ratledge here. You got Jonah and Ratledge, back-to-back offensive line. Can I move back and do this? That's a little – nah. All right. So back-to-back third-round guys. And what I'm going to do here is I could go wide receiver. But I'm not. I'm going to go get my guy, Chris Paul, get my linebacker. Who do I have right here? I got a running back, guard, tackle. I'm going to go ahead and take Chris Paul. I like Barrett Carter, but I like Chris Paul better. So there you go. Got our linebacker right there at Ole Miss. Now, what I'm going to do, some people may not like this, got to get a quarterback. I'm going to go Will Howard, the guy that won a national championship with our offensive coordinator. So now I want a guy right here. And I know I don't have a receiver yet. These are guys that I can get later. So I'm not going to get like a premier wide receiver in this draft right here. And you guys may not like this, but I covered this kid at the Shrine Bowl, y'all. This dude is a beast. Telling you, defensive tackle out of Maryland. He can be a dude that can be phenomenal against the run. He's not a guy that's going to give you a ton of production in terms of getting to the quarterback, but this dude is phenomenal. He was blowing up play after play at the Shrine Bowl. I'm going to take a defensive tackle here. It'd be easy to take Howard Cross, but I think that Jordan Phillips is going to be a guy that's going to get a healthy second contract after his rookie deal. So I'm taking a defensive tackle right there. Now I got to look at corner or receiver. I'm missing two spots right here. A corner. Noah was there, and I may take Noah here, but I still got Za Frazier on the board, and I know that he could be a guy for us later. Let me go back to offense, go to receiver. This isn't the sexiest draft, you guys, but maybe I take Kobe here. Not really loving this right now. I may just take Jimmy Horn later. Go back to all. I could double up at running back here. But, I'm going to get my corner. I'm going to go get Noah Williams out of Cal. All right. I need a receiver. I'm going to go take Kobe Hudson out of UCF here. And then what I'm going to do is double up at running back right here. I could take Taj. I could take Devin Neal. I like Taj a lot, man. Brooks is a beast. I still like Marks a lot. He can help us in the passing game. And Taj had like 1,600 yards rushing this year. Devin Neal's a beast. I might take Marks, man. Yeah, he's a phenomenal pass catcher. Would love to watch him battle it out with him and Dylan out there as a third down back. Let me see who's available still. Jimmy Horn still available. You know what? I may double up here at receiver. You know what? I'm not. Take me a safety. Get what's in there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to double back right here at running back. I'm going to take Marks. How we feeling, y'all? I could have took Devin Neal there, but once again, I wanted more of a pass catcher in my running back in the later rounds. I love Devin Neal, and I think that he could be phenomenal, but you just took the best running back in this class at 6 with Aston Jeanty. So you got Jeanty there. You got Jonah out of Arizona, the tackle at 47. Mind you guys, we traded. Where did we trade? I forgot what trade we made. But we got Jonah, we got Tate Ratledge, the guard out of Georgia. We got Chris Paul Jr. at 78. That's where that trade was, where we picked up that additional third-round pick. Got Will Howard, so he is reunited with his guy out at Ohio State where they won a championship. That could be the future right there because of Chip Kelly being in the building. Jordan Phillips, I'm telling y'all right now, man, please, you guys, go do some homework on this kid. He is a bowling ball at the defensive tackle position. I enjoyed watching him a lot at the Shrine Bowl. He stood out to me amongst all those kids at his position. Got Noah Williams out there, Cal corner, like him a lot, very familiar with his game. Kobe Hudson, like this kid a lot. He could be one of those sneaky later round steals out of UCF. Got Craig Woodson, reunited, and it feels so good. Him and Noah Williams, 2 DBs from Cal. And then you got Marks there at 222 out of USC, who can provide a ton in the receiving game. So there you go. Salute to everybody here in the building. I see a lot of jokes in the chat. Appreciate you guys for sticking around. I like this draft, man. If it ended up like this, I wouldn't be mad at all. I think the only thing I missed out was taking a wide receiver earlier. You know what I mean? I would have loved to end up with a Trey Harris, or one of those guys, Jack Beck. But once again, I valued the offensive line and that linebacker spot over the receiver position. So, it is what it is. So there you go. Salute to everybody here in the building. Nose ring, no booger. Nose ring, no booger. Love, appreciate you all. I'm going to get over here and do some things at the crib and go get my kids. Love and appreciate every single one of y'all. As always, man, wipe them feet on the way out and also hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get 30,000 subscribers. We cannot do this without you guys. If any news drops today, we'll be back. If anything happens tomorrow, we will be back. And we got some more shows on the way in terms of the draft, and we have some guests on the way as well. So stay tuned. Love, appreciate you all. I'm out. One.
That's what I'm talking about.